Taking a look at rental figures published to the end of August, and normally I will look at the Home Let Rental Index, which tracks asking prices for rents across the UK. There's also a report released from the Office of National Statistics less regularly that not only tracks asking prices for rent, but also tracks existing tenancies where there might have been a rental increase as well. However, with a lot of what we're doing as property investors, we're most concerned with, as we finish a refurbishment and we're looking at putting a property on the market for rent, what's the water level in terms of rents in the area? Also, as a tenant maybe serves notice and we're looking to remarket the property for let, what's the current asking price? So the Home Let Rental Index is a really good place to look. And the story with figures to the end of August is that rents are up nationally over 2% year on year at 2.1%. Now, looking through the list there, we've got a lot of big winners, notably Greater London, the South East, the North East. We've also got big increases in the East and West Midlands. Quite a few areas reporting very, very solid rental growth. Just steady growth between 1 and 2% in the Northwest, Yorkshire and the Humber, and also Wales. The only area reporting a drop in terms of asking prices for rents is Northern Ireland. Now, we've got to remember that similar to the housing market, people buying properties and selling properties, there has been a bit of a flurry of activity post-lockdown as people who put their plans to move on hold in February and March have come out looking for new accommodation. We've also seen a big flurry of activity in the student market as well, because lots of universities around the UK delayed their announcements on what they were doing in terms of reopening and what classes would be live face-to-face, what would be done remotely. However, that seems to be working itself out at the moment, and there's still a lot of activity in the rental market. Now, there is an indication that we may be in a position where there will be further restrictions on movement of people. There may be enhanced social distancing rules, potentially another lockdown coming for the UK because there has been a spike in coronavirus crisis. So it's possible there may be another slowdown in the rental market coming and the housing market overall, just in terms of difficulty in getting transactions done. But at the moment, a lot of people seeking to get their home moves done as quickly as possible, and that's feeding through into strong growth in terms of rental prices. If you do have anything you're refurbishing at the moment, keep an eye on what's going on in your local target market in terms of rents, and bear in mind that the trend is upward in terms of asking prices for rents. If you've got anything in your portfolio where tenants have served notices, make sure you're doing an assessment, communicating with your lettings agent and looking at whether now is the time to go for a bit of an increase in terms of the rents that you're generating, because it's a very strong market overall. Do, as always, balance that with keeping a good tenant. If you have a good tenant in a property, don't be too quick to raise the rent, because remember, every time you turn over tenant, you're probably committing to about 2 to 3 weeks in terms of voids. You've got the marketing fees, you've got the tenant setup fees, because all of those are borne by the landlord. They're not passed on to the tenant anymore. So this is about kind of asking prices for rents when you have that natural tenant turnover, as opposed to being a greedy landlord and going for just increasing the rent for the sake of it. Other pleasing news in reports on the letting market overall is the time to let continues to come down. So shorter marketing periods to find a tenant at this stage as well across the UK. So it's good news in terms of demand overall.